Two of the newest Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 powered smartphones are the Honor 200 Pro and the POCO F6. While the respective price points are quite far from each other, they can go head to head in terms of viewing experience and processing power. One of these comes in at under 20,000 pesos, and the other at a heftier 30,000 peso price tag. With that big of a difference, we can definitely expect some advantages that the Honor 200 Pro has over the POCO F6. Hey guys, Zay here from Yugatech, and in today's video, we are putting up the Honor 200 Pro up against the base model POCO F6. Yes, this is standard F6, not the F6 Pro, in a comparison review to find out which one is the better pick. More importantly, does more expensive mean better? Well, without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting with the design. Both of these phones feature a minimalist approach, but only one does have my interest a bit more. The Honor 200 Pro in particular has this subtle two-tone texture at the back, while most of the backplate is matte and features a wave-like pattern, hence the ocean cyan colorway that we have here. Meanwhile, the rest of the phone has a glossy finish where the camera island sits. Speaking of the camera island, it is rather eccentric, featuring an oval shape that houses the triple camera system. The back panel is made out of glass, so it does feel more premium in your hands, and not to mention it is a lot more comfortable to hold thanks to its curved edges. It even gets a stronger IP65 rating for protection against dust and water resistance. On the other hand, the POCO F6 also comes with a very comfortable build. The backplate has curved edges, making it a bit comfortable on your hand. However, this one is made out of plastic. Interestingly, the frame is also made out of the same plastic material. It does feel sturdy though. As for its appearance, the POCO F6 adopts a simpler design with a plain matte finish covering the entire back panel. I personally like this design compared to the last year's POCO F5, which had a glossy black panel. However, gone are the three cameras, as the POCO F6 now only has a dual rear camera setup. While it does retain the same camera layout, the two large camera rings are a lot more flush this time around, or level depending on how you look at things, and space previously occupied by the third camera now houses the dual-tone LED flash. As for durability, the F6 gets a lower IP64 rating, which only provides protection against dust and some water splashes. Our unit is in the green colorway, but its hue may change to blue or even silver depending on how the light hits it. On the camera, it looks a bit more silver, but in person, it's green, but with a hint of blue. So, in terms of design, the Honor 200 Pro clearly takes this round thanks to its unique design and stronger and more premium build, especially the glass back panel. Flip both phones over, and both of these phones sport a Full HD Plus AMOLED panel running at a smooth 120Hz refresh rate. Both also have extremely thin uniform bezels. The Honor 200 Pro has a 6.78-inch quad curved AMOLED display, which is unlike any of the curved displays we've seen before. Quad meaning it curves on all sides. However, the curvature is still somewhat sharp, giving room for unwanted glare. So, let's see. Up top, you have this pill-shaped notch here that reminds me of Apple's Dynamic Island. This houses a dual selfie camera setup, which we'll talk more about later on. The phone also has a peak brightness of 4,000 nits. But take note, this is only useful when watching certain HDR content. Honor also mentioned an aluminosilicate glass material on the display, which is likely scratch resistant, providing an added layer of protection. Meanwhile, the POCO F6 features a tad bit smaller 6.67-inch AMOLED screen that is flat and can reach a peak brightness of up to 2,400 nits. It's covered with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus for scratch resistance, and it has the usual punch hole cutout at the top. Despite the minor differences, you can expect an enjoyable viewing experience on both models. Both phones are HDR certified and have Widevine L1, however only the POCO F6 has Dolby Vision support. Additionally, both phones feature dual stereo speakers. Aside from those, neither of the phones has the upper hand in my opinion. While I could argue that having a flat display on the POCO F6 is generally better for at least some people, some of us might prefer the curved display that the Honor 200 Pro has, giving it an almost bezel-less-like screen effect. With that, I'll give it a tie this round. Now, onto performance. This is where both phones are supposedly equal in terms of processing power. Both the Honor 200 Pro and the POCO F6 are powered by the same chipset, the Snapdragon 8s Gen 3. It's a near flagship 4nm chip from Qualcomm and can reach a maximum clock speeds of up to 3 GHz. As for configuration, both units we reviewed come with 12GB of RAM and 512GB of internal storage. These parameters tell us there's no way they differ in performance, right? Well, almost. Taking a look at our benchmark result reveals some very minor gaps in performance. On Antutu, the POCO F6 achieved a higher score at 1.4 million points as compared to the Honor 200 Pro's still impressive 1.1 million points. Although for the other test, the latter was able to get slightly higher scores and managed to max out the score in 3D Mark Wildlife test. But numbers aside, both phones should be great for your day-to-day use and of course, gaming. We tried playing some games on both models, be it low, demanding, or graphic-intensive titles, and they all ran smoothly. There were no noticeable frame rate drops even if the phone slightly got a bit warmer during our gaming sessions. So, in terms of performance, I'll give it another tie. For optics, the Honor 200 Pro holds a major advantage over the POCO F6. Not only does it have more cameras, it boasts a more versatile triple camera system consisting of a 50 megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization or OIS, another 50 megapixel telephoto lens with OIS as well, and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. At the front, it has a dual selfie setup led by yet another 50 megapixel camera complemented by a 2 megapixel depth sensor. In contrast, the POCO F6 is left with a dual rear setup headlined by a 50 megapixel main shooter and an 8 megapixel ultrawide. For selfies, the front camera sports a 20 megapixel front camera. On paper, the Honor 200 Pro definitely offers better camera capabilities and it shows from the results of the images we took. It can effectively capture great shots of various subjects that almost look like they were taken from a DSLR. However, it's worth noting that the Honor 200 Pro's camera app does have AI enhancement enabled by default, but you can turn this off. This technology, common in Honor phones, enhances overall image quality for a more balanced look, as you can see from the sample photos we were able to capture. But despite having a less flexible camera setup, the POCO F6 still performs quite well. It produces clear images with accurate color representation and a non-aggressive auto HDR for natural-looking photos. Both phones can record up to 4K at 60 FPS using the main rear cameras, and optical image stabilization ensures steady footage. In the camera department, the Honor 200 Pro clearly outshines the POCO F6, earning a 2-point lead in this comparison. Battery-wise, the Honor 200 Pro again has the upper hand. It incorporates a new kind of battery called silicon carbon or Sika battery. However, its benefits, aside from containing more capacity in a given space, remains to be seen. Nevertheless, it houses a slightly larger 5200 mAh battery and supports faster 100-watt fast charging, as well as 66-watt wireless charging. The POCO F6 is still commendable, equipped with a standard 5000 mAh battery and 90-watt fast charging. Surprisingly though, our PCMark battery life test revealed that the POCO F6 outlasted the Honor 200 Pro by an hour with a result of 13 hours and 25 minutes, compared to 12 hours and 28 minutes respectively on the Honor 200 Pro. Despite that, I would still like to give the point to the Honor 200 Pro for its bigger battery and the convenience of having a wireless charging feature, and not to mention the faster charging rate of 100 watts. Out of the box, both the Honor 200 Pro and the POCO F6 run Android 14 skinned with Magic OS 8.0 and Xiaomi Hyper OS respectively. Both are undeniably good software, especially considering the improvements they've gone through the years. The POCO F6 uses the full-fledged Hyper OS skin as it should be, while the Honor 200 Pro still has a close liking to Huawei's Harmony OS or EMUI skin. A software highlight that I really like would be the addition of a dynamic island feature. The animations are smooth and it pretty much looks like the real deal. The POCO F6 unfortunately doesn't have a similar feature as of yet. But perhaps the biggest advantage of the Honor 200 Pro in terms of software is its longer update policy. Honor promises up to 4 years of major OS upgrades and 5 years of security patches. In comparison, the POCO F6 only gets up to 3 years of software updates and 4 years of security patches. For connectivity, the Honor 200 Pro also has another feature up its sleeve. It utilizes a radio frequency enhancement chip called the Honor C1 Plus, which enhances antenna transmission by up to 17% and antenna reception by up to 35%. Now, if you didn't understand that jargon, simply means you have a lot more network coverage compared to your competition. Moving on, both have the essentials including 5G connectivity, NFC, and Wi-Fi 6. As for other features, both phones support under-displayed fingerprint sensor for biometrics along with face unlock. And interestingly, the Honor 200 Pro does have an infrared remote control feature which is typical in most Xiaomi devices. So, in this segment, the Honor 200 Pro once again takes the point mainly because it has longer software support, meaning this phone will run a lot longer. So, there you have it, a battle of Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 Titans. The Honor 200 Pro and the POCO F6. While both phones deliver impressive performance and stunning displays, it's clear that the Honor has packed a premium punch with the 200 Pro. From its refined design and versatile camera system to its extended software support and other nifty features, the Honor 200 Pro is the clear victor in this head-to-head showdown. I mean, as it should. It is a lot more expensive at 29,999 pesos. Perhaps the POCO F6 biggest trump card though is its excellent value for money. Starting at only 18,799 pesos, it presents itself as a compelling option for those who want a near flagship experience for a lot less money. Ultimately, the best choice depends on your priorities. If you're willing to splurge for the bigger package, the Honor 200 Pro is the way to go. But if value for money is your top concern, the POCO F6 certainly holds its ground. So, are you Team Honor or Team POCO, at least in this comparison? Which one is your pick and why? Let us know in the comment sections down below. And of course, if you liked this video or enjoyed it, do drop a like and subscribe to our channel to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Of course, visit yugatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. And you can also read up our reviews of the phones you see here on the website. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.